Oh, what's up, everybody? Once again, it's Brand Man Sean, and this video right here is brought to you by BrandManNetwork.com because I signed myself. Now, I had to go ahead and, record this video straight about the phone because I just gotta say, do not share your marketing plans with a specific type of person, right? Mainly label type people, and I'll explain real soon. But let's just start here. One of my inspirations for this video, because I actually had an original version, but I had to delete that. It was on a camera, it looked all nice, but I'm recording this on my phone now. Whatever. So, guy that works for me, he had he did the marketing plan for this artist, and Jamie Foxx executive produced the project, and he was reaching out to somebody at a label. Yeah, all right, yeah, I can say that. So he was reaching out to somebody at the label, and this guy at the label asked him for his marketing plan. And I was like, I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, if you feel that uncomfortable, I don't know the buddy or anything like that, but based on everything, he checks out, he's cool, whatever. But I don't know anything about him. If you feel uneasy about it, take certain pieces of things out of your plan that before you send it over to him. That's what I told him to do, and I agree with that. I'll stick with that, and I'll show you a story with myself. And yeah, I'll show you a story with myself, and it'll show you how you can apply some of these things possibly for yourself. So after I told him, whatever, bro, it's probably not that big of a deal, but if you feel uncomfortable with it, just take some things out. A couple days later, I actually got hit up by an artist, pretty sizable artist, pretty big artist, and he was like, so we did some work before. And we were doing our thing, killing it, and then we kind of wanted to do some other stuff on another level. Had to go through the label for that situation. Went through the label for that situation, and he kept on saying, "Yo, man, they want to know some more stuff." And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I'll give them this. I'll give them this type of plan. And then he was like, "Yo, but they still want to talk." And I'm like, "Look, first of all, they aren't responding to me fast enough, but also, you know what? I just want to get on the phone with somebody. I got to get to this. I don't have the time to waste on this because this isn't the main thing I'm trying to do right now. And on top of that, I got to feel these folks out." So we talked. I remember I was at Coca-Cola, the world headquarters, and I just remember going to the lobby, and I got in a pretty heated conversation with one of these people. All right. And she was asking all these questions. The person was asking so many questions, and I actually answered more than I typically would, right? But I definitely strategically left some stuff out. They wanted me to do some things that I wasn't willing to do, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. And we kind of parted ways. Well, in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to try to give anything else. If they were going to come my direction, they can come my direction. It is what it is. I don't need y'all's system, right? Y'all are asking me and trying to get me onto this particular thing. That it kind of fell by the wayside. Some other things happened with the artist, just personal life and all that stuff. Bam, fast forward probably about 8-9 months. Artist hits me up. "Yo, Brian, man, I need you to do that thing that you did before. Last time it got popping. The track took off, it was crazy, blah, blah, blah. And let's do that thing again." I was like, "Cool, let's talk. Let's have another conversation. We'll see if we can actually do that." We talked, we agreed to that, but then after the conversation, Buddy goes, "Yo, Brian, man, like, you know what's crazy?" I was like, "What? What's up, man?" And he was like, that plan that you had for me last time?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, that plan, like the label, they took basically a lot of them things you said, and they started doing it with other artists on the label, and it's working. Like, it's for real, it's working. And, but they're trying it in some other places and with some other artists, and it's not really working with them." And I was like, "Yeah, remember when I told you I'm not about to give them all the sauce. I'm not about to go in as much detail because people will probably try to run off with the sauce, particularly in these label situations, because that's kind of how they do." Because I actually, for real, did tell him that ahead of time. And I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised, right? But there was a reason that certain parts that they aren't getting to work because, I left those parts out. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I even remember him saying, "Yo, they had never seen anything like this before, done it." I'm like, "Look, man, like, I understand. That's not even a big deal for me. In some ways, it was kind of expected. However, it just confirmed, right?" And then when he had that conversation with me, I was like, "Oh, snap, I'm up here making it seem like it wasn't a big deal," where the guy that worked for me hit me up asking for just advice on this particular situation, on if he's just sending information out or not. And I was like, you know what? I guess this is basically the same situation. Maybe I should double back to him and be like, yeah, you know what, man? You shouldn't send him that. Nah. Or like have a phone conversation. Try to fill him out. Because the thing is, what I have seen time and time again is, for whatever reason, I guess people are always trying to look for these new inspirations and strategies and things like that. And at some of these labels, or they're trying to figure out what's the next thing that they might be missing. Right? You know that you're trying to do this exact thing, but you don't necessarily have to have the time. You might not have a team, right, of young boys running up on the streets to help you with some of these new strategies and help you keep a pulse on things. So they're looking for new information. That's essentially what they're doing. They're looking for new information, and how can they go about it? How can they integrate that into their own plan and get credit for it? A different version of that is, you guys have seen Malik's, well, some of y'all might have seen when I had a producer named Alex on the channel. He actually got a Grammy for some work he did on a project for Eminem, and he talked about a story where they did some production, sent it off, right? Sent the production off, and instead of essentially getting hit back up and paid the money they were supposed to be paid, the label basically said, or somebody said, he doesn't know who, somebody basically said, you know what, we got our in-house producers, we can recreate this thing for the free, you know what I mean, well for the cheap, because you have our in-house producers who are already paying, and then we could do it that way, right? And it became a record on a huge artist, and it was a huge hit, you know? So that's happened here and there. The producer version is almost a little bit more blatant to me in a lot of ways. But the reason, once again, I say this is, just remember, you can't share necessarily all of that type of sauce, or if you do, just take some parts of it out, but especially before you have things on paper, because that was the big thing I was telling that artist. I was like, look, man, we don't even have nothing on paper, right? And then and they're trying to ask me all these questions. I'm talking to them because of you and the things that we were doing, but I wasn't planning on this, right? So, keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, you have the things that you're building out for your strategy. If this is not somebody who's going to be advising you on your strategy, helping you with your strategy, what value can you get? So this is more of a story for a lot of the marketers and the PR people and stuff out there more than artists, really. So if y'all know some of those folks, make sure y'all share this with them, just so they have that reminder. But artists, obviously, y'all are sharing y'all plans and stuff like that these days, too, because y'all are actually building y'all's plans. But the people who are marketing folks, managers, record labels, like indie labels that are trying to build something up, when y'all have these conversations with a lot of these big people, keep certain stuff close to the cuff. You know what I mean? Especially till you get some stuff on paper. And when it comes to your team or certain people involved in your team, make sure y'all get some NDAs. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure I put some kind of contracts and things like that in regard to that into the Brandman Network, because it's easy. It's not hard to find one, but it is something that you want to make sure you have in place. So other than that, once again, as always, this video is brought to you by BrandmanNetwork.com, because I signed myself. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like it, you might as well share it. And if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that